Not all can come and work in the Gulf, but some are developing creative ways to be in ministry with communities recovering from Katrina. The Western Pennsylvania Table Project was inspired by the stories shared by a youth work team from New Wilmington Presbyterian Church who had just returned from serving in the Gulf. Jim Moose, a woodworker, teacher, and member of their church, was moved to organize and mobilize volunteers to construct tables for families who had lost their furniture in the flooding.
When Jim was talking about rebuilding and bringing tables in for families, it was taking me back to the table that we had lost and what tables mean to families, and that opportunity to gather together and to make memories together and to be able to sit together and share stories.
The kitchen is one of the things, one of the major things that makes a house a home. And part of our goal, part of our whole idea of local mission with national impact is, as much as we can, we want to try and turn these rebuilt houses back into a home. We ended up with 16 different shops, 75 volunteers, total of about 3,600 working man hours, that through it all we ended up with 100 completed tables. My dream is that 50 years from now, there is a 4-year-old grandkid underneath that table and says, "Grandma, what are these names on this table?" And they would just tell the story and just, pass it down. It becomes something special.
When we have celebrations, it's always in the kitchen, around a table, and as many rooms as we have in any of our houses, the place we gather is around the table. So this table means a lot to us, and we will cherish it for a very, very long time, for as long as it stands. And we'll tell our grandkids stories about this table and where it came from and how the people gave it to us in the spirit of love and wanting to help us.
One of the greatest gifts God has given each one of us is creativity. Let it bloom. And while you're thinking about it, be thinking about, how can I set this up that other people someplace else can get involved with it.
3 years after Hurricane Katrina, the recovery has entered a critical phase as some relief organizations have had to move on to other disasters, leaving many homeowners still in the process of trying to return home. Presbyterian Disaster Assistance has made a long-term commitment to work alongside these families and will continue to be a strong presence throughout the Gulf Coast.
We are not going to be able to close shop for many years. And that is because there's so much need. We have an estimated 8,000 families still in our 7 parish regions, still in FEMA trailers that we're working with.
We're very fortunate that decision was made very early on, that PDA was going to be a long-term presence, because we are seeing other folks pack up and go home, and the need isn't going away. So it's a darn good thing PDA isn't going away yet either.
This long-term commitment in communities has created opportunities for Presbyterians to develop lasting relationships and work with families who have used all the resources available to them but still have not been able to return home.
If PDA hadn't come to Pearlington, we wouldn't be anything like we are. A lot of people probably would have moved out of Pearlington because they wouldn't have had any way to rebuild. Every time I walk in this house, we can't believe it came this far. We were looking at 2 years to get in this house, and now we're looking at 2 months. In the stores, my little 4-year-old, Tyler sees the blue shirts, he knows they're working on somebody's house, and he just cannot wait to talk to them. He knows that they're part of our family. One way or the other, they're going to be part of our family. The blue shirts come to symbolize hope.
Every day, people of faith continue to serve and work together as one body to bring healing, restoration, and life back to the Gulf Coast. Presbyterians will continue to walk alongside families as they rebuild their communities and rebuild their lives.
One of the things that I teach people in new members class is I talk to them about, why are you becoming a Presbyterian? Do you understand and know? Because service is a key tenet of the Presbyterian faith. In these days and times, the world needs an answer, and the church is the answer. And if we don't do it, who will?
The message of Christ is to go out and be challenged, because there you will grow. And this is where we need to be. We need to be in places that challenge our conception of God's face so that we can learn to see it in places like this. that feel really fractured. It's in those challenges, it's in those struggles that we really learn about the work of God on earth.
Be saved, sanctified, freed from sin to where freedom lies, and fly away from the land, because we can, because we can.